Let's proceed further with adding the CSS to the portfolio form. I'll give the universal selector and will set the font family for the entire form. Next, styling the main heading, the H1, where I'm going to say center align the text, font size 3 rem, color, and margin top to -10 pixels. Now we will style the form. The very first thing is setting the display to flex for proper positioning. Then the flex direction is column, border. Let me give the width 80%, margin to 0 and auto, giving some box shadow and padding as well. Now styling the form division. So here again I'll say display flex and the flex direction column, giving the margin bottom, and now also giving flex is 1. This means that the div elements in the form will grow and take up all the available space in the container. It is useful when you want to create flexible layout. Styling the form labels, I'll say font weight bold, giving the margin bottom to 0.4 rem to leave some space between the label and the input. Next, for the input fields, for text, email, and the contact, padding will be 0.5 rem, font size 1 rem, giving some border radius and the border 1 pixel solid with some color, and giving flex is equal to 1. Centering the button container so that the buttons get center aligned. Again, I'll say display flex, justifying the content to center, and margin top is 2 rem. Now let's style the button. Now font size 1 rem, giving some padding and border radius, background color, the color, and border I'm going to keep none, margin right I'll keep 1 rem. Now setting hover on the button, so button : hover and background color. So this is how the form looks. Let's make it responsive by adding a media query on the screen of minimum width of 768 pixels. So here I'll say at media only screen and minimum width. Now inside I'm going to say form. The flex direction I'll say row, so changing the direction to the row as screen will be in portrait mode. Flex wrap to wrap the items if they exceed the container's width. Form division and flex 1, margin right to 1 rem and bottom 0. And I'll say form division the last child, so margin right to 0. So removing the unwanted right margins from the last field of the division. Alright, so the form is responsive as you can see. Now let's style the preview form. For the preview container, I'm going to say position relative to easily move the form to its desired position. Top and left I'm going to keep 50%, bottom to -280 pixels, transform to translate -50% for both, giving the border width, box shadow and padding. Let's also style the edit button. Let me define class on the button tag. I'll say class is equal to button edit. And here in the CSS, I'll say position absolute to make it freely movable within the container as we want to set it to the bottom right side. Right, I'm going to keep 20 pixels and bottom 20 pixels as well. Alright, so we have applied the CSS, though we cannot see the preview form right now as we have not bound the template, but this is how the end result will look like. Now the only thing remaining is the binding of the template, which we'll see in the next and the final segment of this assignment.